All right, it is 10 o'clock, so we're going to get started. I'll let people in as they filter in.
Yep.
Good morning and welcome to the Easthampton Mayor's COVID-19 Virtual Town Hall. I'm Ryan Arnold from Easthampton Media. Today, Mayor LaChapelle's guest is going to be Emily Russo from the Easthampton Reopening Task Force. So the format will be as it usually is, where you can enter questions for either one in the chat window, or you can wait until the end where there will be a question and answer period and you can unmute yourself. Mayor LaChapelle.
Good morning. Thank you, Ryan, for that great overview of our virtual town hall. And thanks for everybody who is joining us today and watching on our local channel 193. Today, my guest is Emily Russo, and she's the Assistant Personnel Director for the City of Easthampton and co-chair of the Easthampton Reopening Advisory Board. The main task of the advisory board is to create and distribute a survey that measures economic confidence in our city, talking to employers, employees, as well as members of our community on what confidence and what their needs are in our business community. It's very important to understand for public health reasons, but also economic reasons to support our local economy and getting real-time data. The idea is that these surveys would be distributed more than once with a period of time in between, because we know that needs and levels of confidence will go up and down as we face and live with the COVID-19 virus. So Emily, if you could unmute yourself and give us an overview of who is on. Actually, you know what? Before I do that, I should say, so Emily is the co-chair. Her other co-chair is Bojana Dabek from Bank ESB. Also, Laura Douglas is on the committee with Jason Miranda, Simon Arias from Holyoke Medical Center, Chris, Carl, and Noah from Oxbow Build, Megan Connor from Taylor Real Estate. And I think I got everyone, Emily. Did I leave anybody out?
Not that I'm seeing. I think you gathered everyone. Yeah.
Excellent. So I'm very grateful to this committee in the midst of all that they're doing, that they've taken on this volunteer position and work that's so key to supporting our local economy and public health. So Emily, I'm going to restart. Emily Russo, Assistant Personnel Director for the City of Easthampton and co-chair of the Easthampton Reopening Advisory Board. So Emily, if you could give us an overview of what work your committee is doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have been meeting via Zoom chat about twice a week, and we're spending that time. We've been kind of trying to determine exactly what kind of questions we should be asking the local businesses in Easthampton. We first of all divided, we want to do 3 different surveys. So we have one that we're dedicating to employers, business owners in Easthampton. We also have one that is going to be for employees of the cities in or the businesses in Easthampton. And then we have one that we want to put out to the general public as for customers, so that then we can gather their feedback on what it is to interact with the local businesses. So we're finishing up on the business and employee side, and we're planning to distribute that in the next week. We're really kind of trying to gather data on how they have been affected by COVID, the changes that they've had to make, the changes they want to make, and how we city can help them through those changes and help them not only to recover from this, but to come back even better.
Right.
So we're hoping to get that put out within next week. We're planning to do it on the Easthampton website. We're going to be using our own means of, like, Megan Connor with the real estate agency, Oxbow, stuff like that. They're all going to be through their means as well. And we encourage everyone to share it with as many people as possible.
Will the survey be able to be printed? I know some of the surveys don't have a print mechanism. Some folks have already asked me, knowing the work you're doing, that, like it'd be great to get some printed surveys to get to their employees or business owners themselves.
Absolutely. We're gonna, while we're distributing the one that goes online, we are forming a printed one as well. So we'll gladly hand that out. Like if anyone doing that, they can contact the personnel department. I will gladly distribute that to them.
Great. And what's the best email to ask questions of you around this project?
Absolutely. They can do personnel, PERSONEL at easthamptonma.gov.
Yes. Great. And Ryan, can you put that email in the chat? Is that possible? I'm learning Zoom techniques. Great. So, and so Emily, when I formed this advisory board, the idea was doing one survey for business owners, really. And then the group, after you guys were getting together a couple of times, decided to do 3 surveys. Can you just describe like how and why that process, how you arrived at the 3 surveys versus the 1 survey?
Yeah, absolutely. So we really wanted to branch into the employees because sometimes we think employees can see things that are happening that employers are kind of blind to, or maybe needs that employees have that aren't being met. So we want to help in that way with them to better help the employers and employees work together. And then we also thought it was really valuable have the public side, because then we can see what people are wanting in their local businesses. How can we as a community better support our business, and how can our business better help the community? So we want to use that and honestly take the public survey and give that as a tool to the local businesses to help them know what they need to do.
Understood. I mean, I know one challenge that is facing Easthampton restaurants is the challenge of outdoor seating. So when you look at other municipalities like Worcester and South Hadley, Northampton, there are some pretty easy and obvious solutions for outdoor dining. And I know in Easthampton, we've been trying to help local restaurants get something like a critical mass of restaurants. Tables outside, but it's been a real challenge. And I'm interested to see survey results of what else we could do to help offset that, or make it or be a little more flexible for those businesses in particular, as well as boosting the confidence of our small retail, and what the public might feel more comfortable getting back into those shops, because on Cottage Street in the Mill District and Union Street, all those businesses feed off of each other, right? And it's important to understand how folks are feeling. Do you have a time, like when the survey goes out, how long will it be out, and when would it be, and the information is accumulated, when the next time the survey goes out to remeasure confidence? Have you thought that far ahead, or focusing on the surveys?
Yeah, honestly, we don't have a definite timeline as far as that goes. I think it'll kind of gather, or it'll depend on our response rate. So I'm hoping that it'll be a few weeks, first one, and then we can revise based on that.
Understood. And it sounds, your group is very committed. I was really impressed with the draft questions that you let me have a little peek on. So I appreciate the effort that you've all been putting on. And if I could just, I feel like I need to do a little bit of a plug here, Emily, as you oversee job postings and whatnot, does the city have any positions that need filling right now?
We do. We have 2 health positions available, an inspector and a COVID COVID compliance officer. And we also have a planning position as well, an assistant planner. So those are the primary ones that are available at the moment.
Right. And as we dissect the COVID-19 assistance money, the CARE Act money, it's very possible that we might be posting more positions that are funded by CARE Act money. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. I think there'll be a lot more jobs coming in.
Great. And you had mentioned too that you were working with Indeed.com to get our jobs more out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've been using more the resume system at the moment.
Okay.
We'll potentially be reaching out to posting, but so far we're more gathering at this time with Indeed.
And the website posts our jobs, right?
Yes.
And what are they on are the job postings on the personnel page, or
they are? You can go to, when you go to the city website, you should be able to an employment section. But if you don't find that, always go to the personnel section and they'll be underneath there as well.
Great. And then just the other, I guess, personnel related thing. Last night, the city council confirmed my appointment of a fire chief. Chris Norris is going to be joining us on July 27th. So I know you will be talking to him to get him on board. Thank you for all of the work there. I've also noticed on the personnel page, you're posting more and more policies. And that also is directly on your department's page.
Yes, that's on our page. And we're continually working on updating those. So
Great. And if members of the public just had questions about operations and personnel, they could also reach out to you at the personnel email address. Yeah.
Yes.
Great. And can you give us your phone number that you're monitoring voicemails on?
Yeah, absolutely. So the personnel phone number is 413-529-1466. That's my direct extension, so you can always reach me. We are working partially from home, so sometimes it does take me days to get back to voicemails, but I respond to those.
Great. Emails and voicemails. Excellent. Would you like to add anything more about what's going on in the personnel department or with the reopening advisory board?
Nothing really, just we are extremely excited about this survey. I think it's going to be really beneficial to the businesses and to the community and just kind of getting everyone working together better. So.
Excellent. Thank you. I'm not sure if anyone has questions for Emily in the chat.
No questions in the chat yet, or is there anybody that would like to unmute themselves, have a question to ask? Necessarily? No takers.
If anyone on the call or who's this meeting or watching afterwards would like to help distribute this survey, would like paper copies or get the link to push out to their employers or employees, that would be a great help. One of the things that we're really taking a look at are communication channels in the city and opening them and kind of thinking outside the box. The pandemic has really shown us a lot of different things. And one of them is communication. And, with mainstream media focusing on so many of the bigger challenges for our community and really society, we don't get the coverage that we usually do for city initiatives. But also just getting basic information about the pandemic or what's going on, big meetings or planning sessions that are coming on. We need to do a better job, and we're working on that as we speak. So to get this survey out and around paper and electronically as best as we possibly can would be super helpful and into our building confidence in our community, understanding what businesses need to reopen or decide to stay closed or to pivot their business. We want to be helpful. We want to be the municipal government that stands with you and do every possible thing. This will also help myself and my team pinpoint grants for small businesses and also employees who need assistance. And we have a couple of those programs soon to be up and running. One is the rental relief program that's being run under CPA money, but also our small grant program, which the first round just closed, and we'll be announcing the grant recipients from that. But we want to chase down more of that money to make sure that it ends up on the streets and in the businesses of Easthampton. So Emily, you're welcome to stay aboard the meeting. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us the overview. And everyone knows how to get a hold of Emily if they have questions afterwards. So we have a couple of other updates, or I have a couple of other updates. So the City Hall is going to remain closed to the public through at least September 1st, but the 15th, I'm hoping it's the 17th. We've ordered the tents to go onto the parking lot of 50 Payson. There are two 12 by 12 tents. We'll have tables and chairs fully accessible for folks to meet with department members of city government, or even volunteer boards to meet in small groups or answer public questions. Those tents will be scheduled just like a conference room. So you as a resident can reach out to municipal employees by the phone, by email, by putting a note in our Dropbox. Some folks have been doing that for a one-on-one meeting, and then those will be scheduled and just like a meeting room would, and we'll have personnel from the department that you need to meet with. And we're starting to take appointments for that. So please reach out to the department. If you're not sure whose help you need in City Hall, email mayor@easthamptonma.gov or give us a call at 413-529-1400. And we'll connect you to the employees that you need to speak to, and make sure that that's done in person, but socially distant. We ask everyone who is meeting with a city employee to wear a mask, as well as all city employees will be wearing a mask. So we want to open slowly our city government to people-to-people meetings, and this is a great first step. We're being very cautious, as you can tell. And as we see resurgence of the coronavirus in places where they did not follow the basic public health guidelines of covering your nose and your mouth, washing your hands, and staying physically distant. And as well, we're seeing a resurgence of cases in the places that did follow those restrictions as they start to shut down public services as well as businesses. So we're very happy to provide that service. As we get into cooler weather, we will have to adjust and take next steps of how we keep that ability to meet with your public employees. Each tent will have two sides to it, so it'll give us some protection from the elements during the warmer months. And I hope that this is well used by members of the public as well as employees who want to meet with other employees. Also, I encourage folks to reach out to the Council on Aging. We're starting to do meal distribution by drive-through. You need to schedule with Brendan Rogers at the Council on Aging. There will be, because of overwhelming response, the distribution this week and going forward will be at 50 Payson Avenue in the parking lot rather than the Council on Aging. It's easier with traffic and setting up the distribution tables to do it at 50 Payson Avenue rather than at the Council on the Aging on Union Street. Also happening at 50 Payson parking lot every Sunday. Starting at 9 a.m. is the Easthampton Farmers Market, which is, I have to say, amazingly set up to be safe, social distancing, hand sanitizer, the barriers, clear barriers between the vendors and the members of public, and lots of volunteers to keep the place safe. Big change this year, other than operating in a pandemic, no pets. So we're asking folks not to bring pets so we can keep the lines of folks moving through the market going very smoothly. And the choice of vendors is expanding. You can reach out to the Easthampton Farmers Market on their website or on Facebook if you'd like to participate or want more details. At this time, I'm open to questions, or someone needs more information or general comments of what's been happening in the city. And then after that, I'll give some quick updates about the different projects in the city that have been ongoing.
Does anybody want to unmute their microphone? All right.
Excellent. So we'll move on to the major projects in town. One, River Valley Market and the construction on Route 10 near Lyman Road, and Route 10 kind of kitty corner across from the bank ESB loan. So that is pretty torn up, and you'll see some disruption for the next couple of weeks. It continues. Really exciting to see the market, the co-op building go up. You can really see the shape of it, as well as seeing the work on Lyman Road and straighten that out to make it safer, as well as a turning lane that will go into the market and allow traffic on that section of Route 10 to flow a little more easy than it currently does. 1 Ferry Street is moving quickly to the roundabout section of the project. So Ferry Street continues to be closed and will be closed for the foreseeable future. We're hoping to have it reopened by mid-September, but it really depends on the weather. And now if you're on the bike path, you're asked right by the corner of after Ferry Street to get off your bicycle and walk it through that section. It's very narrow. And as you can imagine, during this time with this weather, that section of the bike path is very crowded. You'll notice at that section there is a wall that is mostly built, a retaining wall that replaced the last retaining wall, that will have stairs that go from the Ferry Street development up to the bike path, and then further up to Lovefield Street, where you'll see new parking spaces being built. And we will have electronic vehicle charging station there. We'll have 2, which means it charges 4 vehicles on that right on that street. The roundabout is adjacent to the parking on Lovefield Street and involves Lovefield, Ferry, and Pleasant Street. As the roundabout is starting to take form, you'll see a lot of constriction as far as traffic flow. Going down to 1 lane at some time, a lot of traffic patrols there directing you, and expect that pattern might change from day to day, depending on what we're doing. We don't anticipate a complete closure of those roads for any long period of time, but we'll get the word out if that does have to happen. Our plan right now is to keep at least 1 lane free up on Lovefield, Pleasant, and Ferry. The other big project going on in town is the school building. We just actually had an update with the school builders. You'll see the roundabout is really taking shape up top. The hope is by the end of August, there will be at least 1 rough coat on the roundabout, so we can use it to get in and out of the school property. We'll be pushing out a new traffic plan as we get further into August about how to access the site. It's a very active construction site. The last piece of steel went up last week, and we're going to start seeing that building enclosed. In conjunction with that and all of the other major projects in town, each one of the projects has to file a COVID-19 safety plan, and they all do. As the different stages of the project progress, then the safety plan goes, is updated as well. And I think I saw a question from Peter about the school. I'm not sure I answered it.
Yeah, he wants to know a timeline when the school department will announce how school will start in the fall. We talked a little bit about that last week.
Yeah, so I'm glad you brought that up. There is a work session coming up that the superintendent and is going to talk through it with the school committee. And I just had that date up. Hold on a minute. Bear with me. It's a live action. Here we go. Okay, so a work session that looks at the reopening fall plan 2020, it will be on July 20th, 2020 at 4 p.m. And that's posted on the school website. And I'll just go on to the specific agenda. There will be a call to order at 4 p.m., public speak after that, and then the reopening plan for fall 2020, which will be a questions, update, and discussion. And the meeting is focused on just reopening. This is a little different than a full school committee meeting, and it focuses on the many questions I'm sure you have, Peter, around this. And I do too. Our superintendent, Allison LeClaire, has been named to a working group that the Commissioner of Education, Jeff Riley, has put together to get direct feedback and input from local superintendents. And at my last mayor meeting, Commissioner Riley put forward some of the details of what school districts can do to meet as best as possible the learning needs of our students, but also our family needs. Candidly, I will say a lot of this is very flexible and fluid. And given it's July 16th, I'm a little concerned about how we pull it all together. The school districts across the Commonwealth, including ours, has been given a charge to actually put together 3 different plans, one that is fully remote, one that is a hybrid, and one is students in the schools. That's a tremendous amount of work with a very short period of time. We are still waiting for guidance from the state on transportation and food. Perhaps Superintendent LeClaire by the 20th will have more details for us, but I really encourage people to tune in and also then watch it afterwards. Easthampton Media, Ryan, you guys are going to record it, or we're going to record it and then get it up on Easthampton Media for people to watch. Is that the plan?
Yeah, I believe so.
Great, putting you on the spot. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to the 20th because again, candidly, I have a little bit of anxiety about the opening of school. A little more than a little concerned. So we'll work through it together. Also, if you can't make that meeting but have concerns or questions, please email again myself or members of the school committee or Superintendent LeClaire. So we have that going on. Do we have any more questions? And I'll move on to my next.
I'll give everybody a second if they have any. Otherwise, we can move on.
Great. I will be putting out a press release shortly around the work group that I pledged to form through the Community Relations Committee. I have a couple of folks from the Community Relations Committee that have volunteered to be on that work group, as well as work with Brian Kaur, who is the past president of the National Association of Civilian Oversight and Law Enforcement. So we are looking for members of the community or new members to the Community Relations Committee to be a part of that work group. The work group's charge will be to build a community engagement and outreach plan. We are almost through with getting all of the policies around use of force, but other policies that the city might use that have clear implicit bias that could be taken on by this work group and get out to the public for discussion and suggestions. So I wanted to use this forum to get that out and let people know there'll be a press release with some more specifics that will happen around that. That said, that is my content for the week. Any other comments, questions, anything else?
Sure. I just want to say kudos on Chris Norris because he's taught a few classes for CERT, so he knows what he's doing. So it's good to see that he was appointed chief. So
yeah, seems like a really good fit, and we've gotten a lot of good feedback as the city council on the appointment. So the 27th he comes on board, and we'll figure out a swearing in ceremony. Yes, thank you, Elaine. I didn't realize he did training for CERT. He's
taught a few classes for state level for us over the years. So yeah, I've met him a few times.
Great, excellent, thanks. It's good to see your face this time, Emily.
Yeah, I know. I had to get everybody up early this morning. So
Gotcha.
We're about to have solar put on the house, so we're getting ready to have electricians and everybody come in. So
there we go. Well, good. Solar's the way to go. Excellent. Okay. That said, without any other comment or questions, I'm going to sign off for the week. If there are topics or guests you'd like to see on the virtual town hall, please let us know. Give the office a call or an email, let Easthampton Media know, and we'll do our best to make it happen. Please take care and keep your nose and your mouth covered and wash your hands and stay physically distant, at least 6 feet, and take good care of yourself. Have a great day.